pleasure to introduce Noemi Adame today. She is the owner and physician at Culver Pediatrics Center in Indiana. And today she's going to be talking to us about whole foods, plant-based nourishment in pediatrics. So even if you yourself don't follow a whole foods, plant-based diet, you might have families that come to you for care who have questions about their own diet. Either they're considering a whole foods, plant-based diet or they already follow one. And so this is going to give you kind of a good overview to try to understand how to counsel those families, how to talk to them about whole foods, plant-based nutrition. All right. So with that, I turn the time over to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Marina. Okay. So let's get started. I am very excited to be here to talk to you about one of my passion projects, passion special interests, which is whole foods plant-based nourishment. Learning objectives. By the end of this presentation, I hope that you'll be able to describe the benefits of whole foods plant-based nourishment, explain the anatomy of what whole foods plant-based nourishment is, analyze sources of pediatric macro and micronutrients in whole foods plant-based nourishment, discuss strategies to counsel families towards this lifestyle, and identify evidence-based, reliable, science-backed educational resources for whole foods plant-based nourishment in children. So the first thing is, I know this slide is very busy. It comes directly from the American College of Lifestyle Medicine. And I did not want to spend time proselytizing about the benefits of whole foods plant-based nourishment, because that's not the purpose necessarily of this discussion. And this presentation is not for me to try to convince you as an audience member, as a pediatrician, to follow a whole foods plant-based nourishment. It's not for me to try to teach you how to convince families to follow whole foods plant-based nourishment. This is for if you already have a family who's already made the decision to follow a whole foods plant-based lifestyle, and they come to you as their pediatrician for guidance and support. This will give you the information for you to be able to counsel them. That's what this presentation is focused on. So this slide is mainly to reassure you that there is evidence that whole foods plant-based nourishment is healthful and safe and feasible, so that when you have a family, that you as a pediatrician, you have a family that asks you about whole foods plant-based nourishment or asks you for advice on how to embark on a whole foods plant-based nourishment journey, or they tell you that they already follow this lifestyle, that you're able to support them and answer their questions using evidence. Now, I will be very blunt here. It always seems a bit silly to me to try to convince anyone, or that we have to almost have a disclaimer when we talk about whole foods plant-based nourishment in children and adults. Because, honestly, as a pediatrician, I worry a lot more about the child that calorie dense but low nutrient nourishment, like instead of the child who is primarily subsisting on fruits, vegetables, seeds and nuts. But in our society, we're just so conditioned to view what are processed foods and as foods, and we see whole plant foods as not mainstream. So even the American Academy of Pediatrics has a disclaimer about whole foods plant-based nourishment, and that it must be well planned, for it to be safe for children. And to me, there's this cognitive dissonance, because that whole foods plant-based is deemed safe, but it has to be well planned, as if the standard American diet of wholly processed foods is somehow absolved from having to be quote unquote well planned. So all that to say is that whole foods plant-based nourishment is good, and that you as a pediatrician can feel completely confident that you are doing the right thing by supporting a family in your practice that already has made the decision to follow whole foods plant-based nourishment for their child. All right. So, and again, the benefits there are very, outlined very, very clearly. Digestive health improves. There is lower risk of type 2 diabetes, lower cardiovascular risk, lower autoimmune. All those things are one of the benefits of following